The Nance family moved to Texas from Illinois, and they came across the prairie during the land boom of the mid-1800s. This is what we call the parlor. The stories in the Nance family is that Civil War generals were greeted here. The fact that everything was done by hand, the craftsmanship just amazes me. All of this was hand carved. And we have original pine wood, which wasn't really that prevalent in this area. All of these banisters and the staircase and everything was hand done and original to the house. This was the front bedroom, and it was nicknamed the birthing room. There was a large wood-burning stove in the middle, the warmest room of the house, and typically this is where the children were born because there was great lighting for the doctor and large enough to have visitors come in. And this beautiful pine floor was hand-hewn with handmade nails. There's been a lot of modernization in this room, which of course we need to peel back and take back to its era. The waffle ceiling, for instance, did not exist in those days, nor did this type of mantle. These bricks are original to the house. They were actually sand cast in Lancaster. This window frame is original to the house and was very indicative of that period with a very basic decorative look. And some of the panes still have the original water glass in them. Of course, over time, some of the panes have been replaced with modern glass, but we're fortunate to have a couple panes of the water glass still in place. We've brought several people out here to see the property that are in the history world, but when they've come out to the barn, they said this is the real value of this property because of the workmanship and the craftsmanship and the materials that were used. These are all native boards, if you will, or logs that were hand hewn and mortised and tenoned together by hand. You can still see the hatchet marks and the fact that most of the nails in here are still the original handmade nails. This very interesting tree here that has aged well with the Nance farm home purportedly was a seedling that they brought with them from Illinois and planted here so they'd have a bit of back home in Texas with them. Originally, when they built the home around 1850, the house faced south, and this would have been a tree that was planted in the front yard to shade the front porch. But in 1890, they turned the house because they quickly learned you don't want your house facing south in Texas with the heat. In the early 70s, when we really had a growth spurt in DeSoto, they started expanding in the residential area around here. And prior to that, in 1951 was the last year that a Nance lived on the farm. And so when they sold the farm and individuals started owning the farm here and there, they would sell portions of it for development, unfortunately.